Isa bayamahu lame. We said that they didn't find honest people in Yerushalayim. But the pasuk says Yisa bayamahu lame or lo yachove. They went to one of the people. They thought that he knew Torah, and he said no. He made a shvua. Ein Yisa lashon shvua. V'cheinu woman lo sisa Shem Hashem lo yachove. Lo eya mechoshrei atma v'temedrash. I'm not going to consider myself to be one of those that sit in the base medrash who knows the halacha. Uvevesi, and in my house, in lechem vein simla, there's no bread or dress. She'ein biyadi lo mikra v'lo mishnah v'lo talmud. He was honest. He said, I don't know Tanakh, I don't know Mishnah, I don't know Gemara. Umimai, maybe Dilma shining us in the Armelu Gemirna, Armelahe Emalon. Maybe there it's not a matter of trust, because what is he going to say? If he says he knew Torah and they asked him a question, he doesn't know anything, then he had to be honest. So, he could have also said, I learned and forgot. So what does he mean? My lo eyachovesh klal. That means he admitted to them he didn't learn anything. So how can you tell me there's no honest people? Here was an honest person. When it came to Divrei Torah, they were believable. If you asked somebody whether they knew how to learn or not how to learn, they were honest. When it comes to business, they were not honest. That they couldn't find any honest people left in Yerushalayim anymore. Mishnah. Matzilin sal maleki karos. That if you went in to save from a fire, and there was one basket that had all the loaves in there, even if it had 100 loaves, afal pi sheyesh bo mea seudos, you could still save it. Because it's in one act. It's not like running around 5 or 10 different acts. It's one basket, it's one time. Even though we said before, you could only save mazon of stay sudas, but that's if you have to go to 3 different places in the house. If it's in one basket, even if there's a lot of stuff there, you could do it. Similarly, Igel Shel Vela, a big fig cake, which again could serve 100 people. But it's in one place, b'chavish shel yain, or a barrel of wine. That's one halacha. V'omer lacherim bo vatzilu lachem. He could also invite neighbors to come and say, come in and take for yourself too, to try to save items that are in his house. If they were smart, that they could come to Motzei Shabbos and get paid for like being a worker. The question is, how can they get schar Shabbos? So as long as you don't arrange for it before Shabbos, it would be permitted. Now, in these cases, lahechan matzil no son, where would they save the food to? More says lachatzer hamureves, to a chatzer that has an eruv with the home that you're in. So it's a completely permitted area. So why is there a big chiddush here? Of course, why shouldn't you? Oh, because you might think it's a big tircha to do it. So to be matzil from a dleika, the chachamim say it's not a problem with a tircha. Ben b'seir oimer afle she'ena mureves. Now, to go from a reshus hayochi to a chatzer without an eruv is only a rabbinic prohibition. So according to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira, they relaxed the rabbinic prohibition. We paskin that you can only save to a chotzer mureves. Ulasham motzi kol klei tashmisho. You can move other things there, any kelim, any furniture, or let's say dishes that you have to eat for that day. The lovish kol ma sheyachol lilbosh. He puts on clothing, whatever he can put on, and then take and wear it out to the chutzner. The otev kol ma sheyachol latov, and cover himself with various cloaks. L'chora, it seems as much as he can. Rabbi Yossi limits it. Rabbi Yossi oimer shmonas kelim. Only the 18 garments that the Gemara will say that a person will wear at one time. V'chozer v'lo v'shumotzi. And he can go back and do the same thing, but he can't put on multiple clothing. But he can go back and forth, back and forth. And omer lacherim bo v'yitzilu. He can also tell other people to go in and save clothing. Frag the Gemara, how come in the first Mishnah, shalosh sudos, the sulo? The Mishnah previously said you could only take out food for 3 meals. Well, what's this that you can take out even for 100 meals? Or with a loikasha, kan bebola hatzil. If you're coming to save in the house, and there's one basket full of many loaves, and it's not any more tircha to save it that way, it's bavas achas, says Rashi, then it doesn't make a difference whether there's muzzling for 3 sudos or 100 sudos there. Kan bebola kapel. But if you go in there you want to organize and fold and find different things, then you can only find the muzzin of soldiers. They're not in one location. So if you're going to use multiple baskets, you're limited to just 3. Bola hatzil matzahs kula. Right? If you come to save and it's all in one basket, you can save in one basket. Everything. Balakapel. If you have to run around and find stuff, and he has to fold it into a sheet. All of that tircha is only enough for 3 sudas. Both cases are dealing with he has to go in and organize. The loikasha kala also chatzar to the neighboring chatzar you can move even 100. Kala chatzar acheres, but to move to an adjacent chatzar, not me'urav with this one, or let's say there's, let's say 2 chatzeros, one that's close, one that's further out, you can only move 3 su'udos to the chatzar acheres. Boy Ravuna Braid Rav Yoshua. Perish Taliso, he spread out his cloak, Vikipel viniach, and he gathered some material in the house and he put it in the cloak. Vikipel viniach. And he went and got more stuff. Is that considered Kabbalah Hatzil Dami? And we said that's like you could save many things, even up to 100 sudos, or Kabbalah Kapel Dami, where there's a limitation. So Midamar Rava, Ate Rav Shizbi Rav Chizda, that Rav Shizdi made a mistake. Udarash, Ulavad Shlo Yavi Klishu Machzik Yosef Mishalosh Suudos. When you put a kli underneath a barrel that is broken on the roof, you may not put a kli under there more than holds shalosh sudas. Mamina kibala hatzil dami. So it's in a similar case, trying to save a barrel of wine before it leaks out is a similar case like trying to save stuff from a fire. And that would be permitted. Armalei Rav Nachman Maita, so what mistake did he made? Armalei diktani ulvad shlo yavi kliach every yiklo kliach every tzarif kliach every lo. That means you can't bring more than one kli by the barrel. But in that one kli that you bring, you can save even for 100 sudos. Then the Mishnah said, "The eagle shall dvela," a fig cake. And then, if you invited neighbors to come and help you, they could come afterwards and make a cheshbon with you to get paid for, as if they were workers that you hired. So the Gemara says, what's the cheshbon here? Mefkera kazachu. So when he said, there's a fire, come and help me, he was basically, because he says, bo vatzilu lachem. He basically had declared that all the possessions were hefker, and therefore they're allowed to keep the possessions. So what do you mean he has to get his possessions back and pay them like a cheshbon? They can keep it. In a chanami, Mikra didn't, they could keep it. But we're talking about these are people who who go lifnei mishras adin, and they want to return the items. They don't want to take advantage of the guy who had a fire and they're going to keep the items. They want to give it back to the buyer, even though it's not a chiyuv adin to do that. To those people who want to return it, they can accept some payment for the tircha. So Rava doesn't understand. These are, you're describing Hasidim. Hasidim are going to accept payment for Schar Shabbos? That doesn't make any sense. They are fearful of heaven. And therefore, they don't want to benefit from somebody else's misfortune and to be zocha with things that technically don't belong to them because they belong to him because out of fire. However, but they're not idiots either. They don't work for nothing. That's why this is a mutter dika way, because you cannot hire somebody before Shabbos or before the act and say, I'm going to pay you. This was sort of sudden in the middle of the act, and this wasn't planned so that's not considered Schar Shabbos. And therefore it's not a problem. The Yad Chagad loves Schar Shabbos, if they were smart and they know that since halachically this was done in a way that does not violate Schar Shabbos, Oisnim HaCheshbon Lachar Shabbos. Then the Gemara Mishnah asked, Lahechan Matzilan, and we said you save them to a neighboring chotzer that is Me'urev. By the food, he said, come, bo vatzilu lachem. By the clothing, he said, bo vitzilu imi. Imi. Amri, we answer. There was a limit of only 3 sudos. There you go in and out, take. There was no limit set on the clothing. You can go into the house, get dressed, and then go out to the chutzner and take it off. Rav Meir says you can do it a whole day. Rabbi Yosi Omer Shmona Asar Kelim. No. You cannot put on multiple clothing at one time. You can only put on 18. Ve'elu hein Shmona Asar Kelim. These are the 18 kelim. Miktoirin is like a coat. Umkali, like a cape. Upunda, like some kind of belt. Kalbushal pishtan, something made out of flax. V'choluk, a shirt. V'apilios, that means it's like a sheet that you wrap yourself with. Umaforest, something like a turban, a headgear to put on your head. Ushnei svarkin. Rashi says paishalush. Some kind of belt. Ushnei minalim, 2 shoes. Ushnei anpilaot. I think it was socks, woolen socks. Ushnei pargod. Rashi says in German, it's Knehosen. Lederhosen. Look at Rashi, Knehosen. Knee pants. The Chagar Shabbamasnav, and like garters, or excuse me, like an internal belt. The Kova Shabbarosh on his head and his hat. The Suda Shabbatzavaro, and like a kerchief around his neck. Mishnah. Rab Shimon ben Nanas Oimer Porson Orshel Gdil Gabi Shaded Table Migdal. Let's say there's a fire in your house. You can cover a shrunk, a
carriage,
a china, like a china closet, like right? You can cover it with like an armoire. with goat skin, because that is somewhat fireproofing it, right? You can't put the fire out, but you can cover some items in your house, and that's not considered a prash. It will like burn the goat skin and protect what's underneath it. It's like a barrier, and that's okay. It's not called kibui. Similarly, you put a fire break. You see the fire coming in your house. You get a whole bunch of kalim, whether they're filled or with water or empty. And that's it. You're not actively putting out the fire. The fire reaches these kalim, and the kalim break, and the water comes out of it. It's called gram kibu. It's like a grama. It's not direct action. It's secondary action. Chachamim permitted gram kibui by delay. Rabbi Yossi Oyser b'klicheres chadoshim le'mayim. He prohibited new pottery jugs filled with water. They'll break right away. Because they're new, so he did not allow you to use new ones. We'll have to see what the machlokas is. Let's say there's a fire in a garment on one end of the garment. You can soak the other side of the garment with water. You can't throw water on the fire, but if you soak the garment on the other side with water, im kavsa kavsa, if the fire self-extinguishes when it gets to that area, that's okay. Meisvei, I'll ask you a kasha. A garment it's set on fire one end. Poishta umiskaseba. You can spread it out. Or you can even put it on to try to wear it. Bim kavsa kavsa. And if the fire went out, it went out. Let's say Sefer Torah is burning. You can open it up, post to the koroba. And maybe you hope in kava kava. But you can't put water. So hudam krosher bananas. In our Mishnah said that you could put water in a kelim. But he allowed you to put the goat skin over an armoire. But gram kibu miyom, he didn't say, he's not the one who said that you could put kelim out. Or says in, yes. He agreed to that you could put kelim with water out, meditani seifa. Because if the seifa said, Rabbi Yossi, oyster b'kleicheres chadoshim le'mayim she'en echol mekabel sa'or ve'in yizbak mecham sadleika b'chlal, the Tanakama, which is Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas, permitted. So Rabbi Shimon ben Nanas permitted to do the gram kibui. Torah Rabbana. Ner shal gabi tavla. You have a candle that's on the table. Menaris tavla. You can pick up the table. Vihi no felas. You're trying to get the candle off the table because you can't touch the candle. The candle's muktzah. A lit candle's muktzah. But the table is not. So you pick up the table, the candle falls off. In kavsa, kavsa, and if it extinguished, it extinguished it. You didn't directly extinguish the fire. That's only a case where you had forgotten from Friday afternoon, you left the candle on the table. But meniach, if you put it down purposefully, then the table becomes nasa bosis l'dovra aser. The candle's a dovra aser. The table becomes a base l'dovra aser. It becomes muktzah as a bosis l'dovra aser. You would not be able to move the table. Tana ner shachri adeles. You have a candle that's burning. It's sitting right in front of an open door. So more it says posech v'noel kedarko. You can open the door, close the door, open the door, close the door. If the candle happens to burn out, kofsa. Again, it's a gram kibui. It's not direct. Layit ala Rav. Rav, though, insulted people who paskin that way. Why is Rav upset with that halacha? That by opening up the door, you were not miskavein. You didn't have kavanah to put the fire out. You had kavanah to open up the door. Now, Rabbi Yehuda holds davar shem miskavein, which leads to an isra malacha, is also usher. Now we know Rav doesn't hold like Rabbi Yehuda. Because are you going to tell me that Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda v'tana ketani lak Rab Shimon, and the Baraisa who said that you're allowed to open the door is going like Rab Shimon, who holds davar shem miskavein is mutter. So I understand. You should be Rav serve like Rabbi Yehuda, not like Rab Shimon. Called the Tani, Rab Shimon made it layatly. Whoever's going to follow Rab Shimon, Rav curses. Rab Shimon is a Tana. That's Rab Shimon ben Yochai. So fine, somebody doesn't agree with the way Rav Yehuda paskins, but Rav is not going to be upset if somebody follows Rab Shimon. So the Gemara says, "Amalei b'ha fil Rab Shimon moide." No, here Rab Shimon is going to agree to Rab Yehuda that it's usher, because this is a case we know for sure that the fire will extinguish when you open the door. It's a psik reisha. Can you cut a chicken's head off and not have it die? You don't want it to kill the chicken. You want to use the blood for fertilizer. But psik reisha v'lo yamus, it's a question. So Reb Shimon is moided there. So here as well, that's why Rav was lying. You have a big bonfire going, and you want to fan the flames to make it bigger. Rav Yehuda says you can open up a door because you're opening up the door. Even though wind's going to come in, Rav Yehuda permits it. Layat alei Abaye. Abaye did not like this psak. But my askina, what a case we're dealing with. Is there a normal wind outside? So then there's no problem with opening up the door. My time demand the asar. Why would it's not normal to fan a flame with a regular ruach, and it's not necessarily a psik reisha. So Reb Shimon would hold it's mutter because it's a davar shem miskaven. And iberuch sheina mitzuya, if it was a hurricane outdoor, my time at the demand nobody would permit. Loila beruch mitzuya. The only question is Mar Savar Gazrinan, Abaya, who didn't agree with the psak, said there's a gzeira not to be allowed to do because otherwise you'll do it in a different way. Umar Savar Loi Gazrinan. Then the Mishnah said, Oisin Mechitza, you could if you see a fire coming, you could set up a whole bunch of kalim with water as a fire break. Seems to be Lemeimed Rabbanan Savri Gram Kibui Mutter. They permit to do it, and Rabbi Yossi Savri Gram Kibui Aser. We've heard just the opposite. Shita, the Tanya. Oisin mechitza b'kelim rikonim, you can make a fire break with empty kelim. Uvimlein, also with full ones, as long as the kelim she'ein darken lishtaber would not easily break. Ve'elim lein she'ein darken lishtaber, what kind of kelim don't break with fire? Clay matches, metal kelim. Lenny, I'm teaching the Daf Yomi. Rabbi Yossi Oimer, Af klei kvar sichin klei kvar chananyan ein darken lishtaber. He was more makel. He added other types of kalim as ones that don't break. So here we see Rabbi Yossi is more makel than the chacham. The chite me'epech pas nisan, and maybe you'll tell me that our Mishnah should be opposite. That really Rabbi Yossi is makel, the chachamim are machmir, and Rabbi Yossi the baraisa l'divrayim ka'amar. Can we reverse our mission like that? Man Tana Gram Kibui Os Rabbi Yosi. We had a tradition that the person who held that even a grama by extinguishing is prohibited. So Elul Oilam Loy Temple. Ubraisa Kula Rabbi Yosi. It's all Rabbi Yosi. There's some words missing, and this is how you have to learn the Braisa. If you see a fire coming, you could build a wall with empty kalim of the Malay, and if they're filled with water, you can use it. But as long as normally ain't dark and lishtaber, these kalim won't break in the face of fire. And the Elohim kalim shein dark and lishtaber klei matchas. Metal, uklei kvar schichin, uklei kvar chananya, nami ain't dark and lishtaber. These other kalim also don't break. Sharab Yosi Oimer of klei kvar schichin, uklei kvar chananya ain't dark and lishtaber. So in general, he held this was even further away from Gram Kibui, because the kalim would not break. So if it broke, it's like a gram of the gram. You said that according to me, I hold any kalim can be used, but according to you, Chachamim, who asked for Gram Kibui, but if you use kalim that don't break, you can't even consider it a gram. The Ramid Rabbanon ad Rabbanon, the Ramid Rabbi Yosi ad Rabbi Yosi. I'll show you a stira. The Tanya. Aresha Yeshem Kosov Lo Absaro. The person had some kind of name written on his skin. Hareza Lo Yerchotz. You can't wash it off. The Lo Yasuk. You should not anoint yourself with oil. The Lo Yama B'Mokom Atinoites. That means it's the shame of Hashem. You can't stand in a dirty place because it's not a covet for the Hashem's name. If you have to go to the mikvah, you cover it with some garment. The yard, the toilet. Rabbi Yosi or Oilam yard the toivel kedarko. You don't have to wrap something around your arm, as long as you don't scratch at the name. So you see, Rabbi Yosi is also makel more than the Chachamim by a grama. The Gemara says, "Shiny also donokravi bartem es shma min hamakom." You have to erase the name of avodah zarah, but lo tasun kein Hashem lokechem. Asiyahu do aser. You can't do something actively, but grama shari. But doing something in an indirect way, like going into the mikvah, as long as you don't add to it, is permitted. If that's all, by any malacha, it says asiyahu do aser grama shari. But we know by grama, by malachos, are not permitted in general. There's certain heterim, like by kibui, like by dleika. So in a chanami, we talk shalom bola mamono, yishar slayos lekibui. By a fire, because a person's so panicked about his assets, if you would have permitted him directly, he would come to extinguish the fire. So they answered grama by kibui mainly as a gzeira. It's also kasha between our shita that we had before and this price that we just brought. So, person is by a fire, panicked over his assets. You permitted So here by grama of the erasing the name also, it should be permitted since it's only a gram. The tizra is that so hagemi hechidami. When we said that you have to wrap this gemi around his arm, what does that mean? If it's tight, then the tefillah won't work. If it's not tied, the water will go in and erase it. So the Gemara says, chatzitza, you're worried about the garment. The ink that's on his skin is going to be a chatzitza. So we're talking about belecha. I guess it's moist. And therefore it's not a chatzitza. The Tanya, Adam bad yod vash v'chalav, blood, ink, honey, and milk, if they're dry, yveshin chotzim, but lachim and chotzim. But mikol makom kasha, we saw a steer in the Rabbanon. El Arav Rav Shila, I know Tamad Rabban the Kasavri, also Lamed B'fnei Hashem Aru. Person cannot stand naked in front of the name of Hashem. Afraid the Gemara that Mechlad Rav Yossi Samar Mutter Lamed B'fnei Hashem Aru. So the Manach Yadei Eloi. So he puts his hand over it. So the Rabban Nami the Manach Yadei Eloi. Why wouldn't the Chachamim allow that? Because Zinda the Mishtali V'Shakalei. Because sometimes he'll have to remove his hand. So why aren't we worried about that for Rabbi Yossi? So if you have a gemi, some kind of nylon to wrap around it, so Rabbi Yossi is moided that you would use that. You have to spend time looking for a gemi. Rabbanan Sorry Tvila B'Zman Alav Mitzvah. Going to the mikvah on the right specific day is not a specific mitzvah. So madrinon. So you can spend the time looking for the again. Rabbi Yossi Shabbat Tefillah Bismana mitzvah v'lo madrinon. Since if you go spend it, you're going to miss out on the Tefillah Bismana. We'll see this is by a zav and a zava that have to go to the mikvah on a specific day. And if you go on that specific day, it's a special mitzvah. But if you spend the time looking for the gemi, you may not get the mitzvah. And that's the point, that's the nakud of the machlokas. So Mitzvah Hashem, we will learn Saturday night.